This is a presentation of the Sports Source Digital Network, presented by Hearthside Bank.
Welcome into the Sports Source Digital Network. I'm John Pennington, joined by Ryan Callahan, fresh from Tennessee's practice fields, where the Vols had their practice on Tuesday. Observations. What'd you see today?
Well,
in the limited amount they showed.
Yeah, we'll start with the obvious big news. Boo Carter's back out there, at least for the periods we saw. You know, we can never rule out the possibility that they're getting him off the field after we're gone.
But he was at least back out there with a helmet.
Yeah, during the individual periods, he was out there, full participant. Looked like did some return work early and went to the defensive backs after that. So that's a noteworthy development. Obviously, just 4 practices. You know, he had a couple where he didn't have his helmet, a couple where he got his helmet back, and now he's back out there on what looks like a full-time basis. So we'll see where it goes from here. Josh Heupel, unfortunately, we won't hear from him again until after Saturday's scrimmage, so no one really to address that for a few more days. Some receivers, some in, some out. You got Mike Matthews back out there on Tuesday with a knee brace on. Still looked to be moving around pretty well, so I don't know what to make of the size of the brace, but it's an interesting. I mean, it looks.
Was it a big brace?
It's a big enough. It's a not small brace. I would put it that way. So that's interesting, but the way he was moving around doesn't suggest it's a major concern. And then you had Braylon Staley was the new guy, not out there on Tuesday, and still no Chris Brazzell, at least working his way back from the injury that's kept him out here at the start of camp.
And that was a knee procedure he had a few weeks back, right?
I believe so.
That's what, they haven't said it, but that's what everyone thinks.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like anything significant, but still not insignificant when you're missing 5 days of camp at the start of practice. So not an ideal start here for Tennessee's wide receivers overall.
Okay, let's pick it up right there. The issue, and we'll drive it back to quarterback. The issue you run into, not only do you have a bunch of unproven guys in terms of Matthews, who's missed a day and now he's in a knee brace. Staley, who's off the field for whoever knows how long now, and we don't know why he's off the field. Brazzell, who's missed the entire start of camp, basically.
Yep.
Not only are those 3 guys missing opportunities to catch footballs, and it sounded like they had some drops in their deal on Saturday, which, okay, I get it. You throw a bunch of people footballs, they're going to have some drops. Yeah, I'm not going to give you the pass. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I want you out there catching the jugs gun all summer anyway.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear about drops.
Yep.
And it sounded like there were a lot of drops on Saturday. So now you got guys who've made some drops, guys who aren't proven, guys who aren't necessarily on the field. And my bigger concern with them not being on the field, you got a new quarterback too. Whether it's Merklinger or Aguilar, you're not building any chemistry with the quarterback because you're not on the field. This is a terrible development. I don't mean to ring the alarm bells, but if I had one, I'd ring it.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is not. If you're looking at this and needing a perfect launch pad, we did a show a couple weeks ago, Who Needs to Hit the Ground Running?
Yeah.
And we were looking at receivers, receiver player, which specific receivers coach needs to hit it. Yeah, all of them need to hit it, and they're not.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to me.
Now, I'll give you some positive to counteract that just a little bit.
Yeah.
They did some goal line passing work during the open periods on Tuesday. It was some of the crisper passing work we've seen from them so far. There were some nice catches in there. Again, you're missing a couple guys.
From Matthews, Jefferson.
Amari Jefferson actually had a nice catch, maybe the best catch of the session, and a couple others were Darius Jackson. I thought had a nice play. So there have been a couple that have shown up. Hearing a lot of good things about Travis Smith and Darius Jackson as true freshmen. So guys that are going to have some bumps in the road. They're young. They've got to learn on the job. But you're still seeing some flashes of the talent, and then overall, I think the quarterbacks have been okay. So
that's where I was going to go. Okay, so off the receivers, where I'm ringing the alarm bell, you can bring it back and say they look pretty good. That's what you saw of them.
Yeah.
I'm still ringing it.
Yeah.
In terms of quarterback situation, where are we? On Sunday on the Sports Source, we talked about the fact it's early. These guys are still learning. Aguilar's drinking out of the fire hose, as they say. Okay. You didn't practice Monday. You had a Tuesday session. At some point, we've got to start looking at it and saying, okay, here's what they're looking good. They're not looking good. What are you hearing? Because they're not letting us see a lot. What are you hearing? Are the folks over there happy with the way it's going, in your opinion?
I think it's gone okay. I don't think they feel that the passing game's lighting it up. And I think, to your point, the receivers missing some time is setting back the evaluation of things a little bit when you don't have Mike Matthews and Chris Brazzell. I mean, you're talking about a first team today. you essentially have Rodarius Jackson, Travis Smith, guys like that getting first team reps because you've got no Braylon Staley and no Chris Brazzell. So that sets back the evaluation of the quarterbacks on some level. You've got enough guys to make it work, but it's not ideal when you're running out 5 scholarship wide receivers for practice. So and they've got other bodies to get through it, but it's just, again, to your point, not ideal, and that's not helping the development across the board of the passing game, continuity, chemistry, all those things that you need to be effective in the passing game. So I think the evaluation of the quarterback so far has been okay. They've not done a lot of team periods from what we've heard the first 5 days overall. A couple days, a little more teamwork. Other days, not so much at all. So I think we'll still get a better feel the next 3-4 days, especially the scrimmage Saturday. But I think so far, okay. Nobody lighting it up. Nobody running away with the starting job. But Aguilar, I think, has been about what you would expect so far. Steady, missing some throws here and there. You've kind of seen that from all 3 quarterbacks. More so, honestly, Aguilar and Merklinger. I feel like George McIntyre has shown the arm talent in a lot of ways, but he's still a young guy. He's still putting on weight.
Yeah, he's thin.
It's not an ideal situation to throw a true freshman out there, and that's not to say that he should be winning the job otherwise. Just to say that when you look at just the physical tools, he's got them. I mean,
long term, he's probably the most talented. He's the 5-star out of that bunch.
Well, was for a little while.
Okay,
got
Depends
docked
on
later
who you
on.
Look at,
but a guy that has the talent long term to be good. But right now, it still looks like an Aguilar versus Merklinger battle.
Yeah, I continue to say if you see McIntyre this season in meaningful snaps, something's gone wrong. Yeah. Because that is not how they're drawing it up. Offensive line.
I think, okay, now I say that on the Sports Source Sunday, Daniel Hood, who's seen much more live football than I have, had more concerns about that group. I think the center position remains far and away my biggest concern about that group. Can they get someone there who solidifies things? Because we've seen it before in this offense, especially if they like to run some tempo stuff. Center can throw off everything. When they didn't have Cooper Mays out there for a few games the last couple of years, it didn't look the same. And so having a center who can do things the way you want, can be reliable with snapping, can just sort of keep everything solidified up front. If the center struggles, if he's getting caved in, it makes the guards have to cheat to his side. Everything's a little more complicated. So I think they've got to get center right. But otherwise, I think okay so far. David Sanders has made some real progress. I think Jesse Perry's had a really nice offseason. Wendell Moy is the guy we hear. It's kind of like the steady guy. And then I actually talked with Glenn Ellerby on Tuesday. He had some really good things to say about Lance Hurd and the progress he's made. So if all 4 of those other guys are picking up the slack, it maybe makes it better to offset any issues you have at center, but still any issues at center could make that a real problem.
All right, for those of you who want more on the offensive line, we'll have Ryan and Ollie Lane take a look at the depth chart, talk a little bit more in depth about the offensive line later in the week. Maybe if this goes up tonight, which would be Tuesday, that'll go up tomorrow on Wednesday, I think. What about your secondary? Boo Carter was back. Jermod McCoy's still out, obviously. How are the other guys back there looking?
I think pretty good, and that's the one area of the defense you maybe have the most questions about out of the whole unit, because the front seven looks like it has a lot of experience and talent coming back. But still overall, not a lot of huge question marks. I think Andre Turrentine is a solid veteran back there. Next to him, you've got the one real question mark, the other safety spot after Jacoby Thomas left at the end of spring practice. And I think Idris Farouk has had a nice start to camp. Continuing to build on a solid offseason. I think they feel pretty good about him. And between him and Caleb Beasley, who I think is also going to play a lot, I think you've got three safeties with those guys in Turrentine that should be able to give you solid safety play at least. I don't think you lose anything athletically, certainly, after losing Will Brooks last year. And then at the star position, even if Boo Carter wasn't out there, I think you've got a couple nice options in Jalen McMurray and Colton Hood. Whoever's not at corner would be at star probably. And then, at corner.
That's what I was going to say. If you're going into the Syracuse game, let's just say McCoy may not be there. All right. Mm-hmm. What are your starting corners right now, and how do you feel about them? And
I would say good chance that he won't be out there for the Syracuse game. So for that game, really it depends on Boo Carter. Is Boo Carter in the starting lineup? Is he out there at all? That's one of the questions. Even if he's back on the practice field, we don't know if he's going to find his starting job there waiting for him. So is there something about this punishment that carries over into the season? If he's out there, you're probably looking at Jalen McMurray on the outside, starting opposite Ricky Gibson. If no Boo Carter in the starting lineup, that's where I think Jalen McMurray might get the start at the star position. Colton Hood outside, opposite Ricky Gibson. So still some veterans there who played a lot of football, and a talented guy in Colton Hood that I think they feel really good about. And that's not a bad situation overall. Now, one area I think they're a little short, not as much depth in the secondary compared to other spots, but kind of at each position group, you've got at least one backup they feel really good about. At corner, you've got a couple now with Hood and McMurray once McCoy is back. So it's not a bad situation, but not a position group where they can afford a rash of injuries in the secondary.
All right, 0 to 10. 0 being first 5 days of camp have not gone the way you want. 10, oh, this is looking great. It's smooth sailing, baby. We're going to kick it for Syracuse. 5 is, Where are you right now after 5 days?
Just overall about the outlook
0
for the
to 10.
season, or just how the first 5 days
Just
have gone?
these 5 days. Where, I mean, if you're looking at it saying, here's where we need to be 5 days in, you feeling good, feeling bad, feeling meh?
I'd say about a 5. I mean,
so
because you've got one guy we didn't touch on, Josh Josephs, has now missed a couple days. So that's a guy who needs to take a big step this year, and looks like he's going to be one of your defensive leaders, but missing time in camp. And that these things on the surface don't look like big problems. They don't sound like injuries that are going to carry over into the season.
Yeah.
But we saw it last year with Lance Hurd. Now he had a more significant injury in the summer, but it was an injury that kind of set him back, and things never got back on track. So sometimes these camp injuries can linger in a way because the performance is affected by guys getting back into the routine of things. So I don't think it's anything to raise major alarms about, but it's something to at least keep in the back of your mind that these guys need to get back on the field on a full-time basis and knock off the rust long before the season opener starts.
Going back to that, I should have thrown it out earlier. It's not yawn. That's not on you. I didn't get much sleep last night. Braylon Staley. He missed time in the spring with what, hamstring?
I believe that's right, yeah.
Well, you would think that would have healed up over the summer, but those hamstrings have a tendency to be long problems.
Yeah, no one told me that's a concern for him. I think he's probably fine, but
just know he's out.
But but the fact that he's back out, that's again not an ideal situation that you've got so few guys there, and really, I mean, 3 guys who've played any college football at all, and the fact that you're having those guys in particular miss time and throwing those freshmen in there. I mean, it's good for the freshmen in a way. They're getting a lot of work, but
I would, if you had Nico Iamaleava back. Not that I'm a Iamaleava fan, not that he was going to be the world's greatest quarterback, but he would have had at least a little bit more history with these guys.
Yeah.
You're throwing in quarterbacks who haven't really played with these. Of course, then again, he played with Brazzell. Matthews and Staley didn't really get on the field last year.
Yeah.
So, all right, Ryan Callahan, thank you very much, folks. We'll have more practice, of course. They've got the scrimmage coming up on Saturday. So Sunday on the Sports Source on WATE and here on the digital network, we will have reaction to that scrimmage, and we'll keep you up to date all week long with what's going on with Tennessee practice. And as I said, Ryan and Ollie Lane are going to get together and break down the offensive line. I've got some stuff coming up with Kevin Simon a little later in the week. Chuck Cavaleris and Tyler Ivins are doing some stuff later in the week with some incredible numbers. I'll show you the numbers after we're done here about Tennessee's offense. It's shocking stuff. All that coming up this week on the Sports Source Digital Network. If you like this kind of content, give us a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Click subscribe, ring the bell so you're notified, and leave comments. If you think I'm overreacting by ringing the alarm bell, and I'm sure you do, go ahead and tell me. If there are parts of this that you're hearing, no, I think this sounds great, go ahead and put it in the comments section. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time right back here on the Sports Source Digital Network.